Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video we're going to be brutally ranking That's right, we're going to be brutally ranking Bopl. If you're new here, I rank games on 5 different aspects: the gameplay, story, graphics, sound and music, and the price. So let's get into this. Alright, I'm starting off this section strong because the gameplay in Bopl, it's actually insane. Like, dangerously addictive. Especially if you're playing with friends. You'll be either living the dream in one moment, then screaming with so much rage at the next. But the thing is, what is Bopl, you ask? Well, just imagine this. 4 slimy bobs with magical powers all trying to murder each other. Now remove the imagine part and that is the game. But how does something so stupidly simple manage to be this good? Well, that's what this video is about today. It might not be good, it might be ass. So Bopl in a nutshell is just about 1 to 4 players in a blob battle royale. You get to pick 2 base abilities, and maybe if you're lucky you can find a third. Then it's all about chaos, gravity, and especially betrayal. But yeah, that is literally the entire game. No deep lore, no proper story, just vibes and violence. So why does this work? Why is it that this game that looks like it was made in scratch seems so much better than so many AAA games with budgets the size of literal small countries? Well, let me tell you, it all comes down to the abilities. When I first played Bopl, the full release game wasn't out yet, so I got to play the free Bopl demo. This demo was so generous, it gave you the game, but with only 10 different abilities, all for free. That's already more than some paid games want to offer. But the 10 abilities include the dash, grenade, bow, engine, blink gun, gust, growth ray, rock, missile, and spike. And yeah, some of these can be dumb, some OP, and the rest will kill you more than anything else. But I guess that's the fun in it. Just to give you guys some reference of what the abilities are, my top 3 abilities are the following. The rock. You become a rock, you can drop the rock, you can roll the rock, you can die as rock, you can be a WWE superstar, but this rock just makes it all physics-based and absolutely hilarious. The engine. Turn any rock into a rocket. You can ram people and pair it with the next ability to get a crazy upgrade. The growth ray. Pairing the growth ray with a rock and using the engine just does amazing. But to use the growth ray yourself, you can just make yourself massive, or even better, make someone else massive as they become an easy to hit Godzilla blob with such a huge hitbox. But what I learned in the demo mode is that the combo potentials are honestly nuts. Like, there's so many combos you can do just to ruin someone's day. Like, even here, I just used a dash and rock just to kill this guy round after round after round, and he got so annoyed. But after playing this demo version, I got this full version, and I won't lie, it gave me a bit of a migraine. Like, going from 10 abilities to 25 doesn't seem like much. But for me, it was like going from playing Cookie Clicker to the final boss of Elden Ring. Well, not that bad, but even though I already knew the basics, I was still just confused. There were so many more abilities. I guess after an hour or 2 of chaos, I did start to understand it. But if you are a new player, just start with a demo, trust me. The full game of Bopl can just confuse you, and the demo is free. I do recommend to support him at some point and pay for the game, just start off with the demo. But this is why I got so confused. These are the additional 15 abilities you can choose from. The time stop, smoke, platform, revival, roll, shrink ray, black hole, invisibility, meteor, throw, push, Tesla coil, mine, teleport, drill, grappling hook, beam, duplicator, and magnet gun. Yeah, there's quite a lot. But just like the demo version, these are the top 5 which I want to give you guys of my favorite abilities. Firstly, the time stop. You can freeze time and then casually murder your friends. When you use it, you become a god. But if you do use it badly, you'll end up like my friend who jumped into his Tesla whilst using time stop while trying to kill me. The shrink ray. You can make your friends or platforms tiny. It can make them harder to hit and harder to land on if it's a platform, but also easier to dodge if your friends are trying to throw a grenade or arrow at you. It can be risky and stupid, but I just love it so much. The black hole. It's exactly what it says. You drop one and including everything with yourself slowly gets dragged to death. Unless you're too far away. You feel like a god using it, but if you kill yourself, you will regret using it. The drill. Drill through platforms right into your friends. See, there's an ability called platform, which my friend used. This allows you to create your own platform. So if you drill right through it, you may be able to hit them, which makes it so funny. The revive. This ability is so clutch. If you think you're gonna die, no, you won't. Just place down your revive and you'll abuse it. Everyone does. The good thing is there is a cooldown to it, but I feel like they should put it longer. But outside of the ability system, there's not much else. Like, yeah, the core loop is fun. You get to win a round, grab a point, and repeat. But after around like 40 or 60, as the developer is adding more maps, yeah, it will get old. Now, to be fair, the movement does help it, and it is so dumb in the best way. You slingshot off ledges, squeeze into gaps, and die like an absolute silly man. But this is all due to the amazing non-gravity/gravity effect thing. I don't really know how it works. But on top of the movement, you also have the maps, which are split into 3 categories. They're colourful, chaotic, but this is more for the graphics section. But the one good thing about the maps is the platforms. Especially if you have the disappearing gun, because in this clip you can see I killed me and my friend, betraying him from trying to win a round. It was so funny and he's still mad about it. So yeah, the gameplay, it's dumb and minimal, but it's also brilliant. The abilities carry, the physics are hilarious, and the co-op is absolute madness. But like I said, it is repetitive and it's very light on content. Also, you can get really bad lags. This could be due to whoever's hosting the game, the servers, or just anything. I don't really know, but it just really doesn't make the game fun. So yes, it might become your next favorite party game because the gameplay is good. There's just not enough of it and it's a bit bland. So that's why this section is going to get a 6 out of 10. So the thing is, Bopl has no story, like no lore, no ancient slime prophecy. It's just blobs with powers trying to murder each other in the most ridiculous way possible. And honestly, it's perfect. This kind of game doesn't really need an in-depth story. Like, there's no cutscenes, no dialogue, just chaos. Shrink rays, black holes, rocket engines, it's all gameplay, no filler. But in my opinion, the madness creates its own kind of story. The dev didn't try and force a story, he gave us a playground, and now the community fills in the blanks with their own blobs myths. So technically, there is no lore, but really, it's whatever madness you make out of it. So because there is no lore, I'm gonna have to give this section a 0 out of 10. So Bopl's graphics, it's debatable. As with most indie games, they'll either charm you or look like it's made from something in Microsoft Paint. But honestly, there's something weirdly special about the graphics here. First off, massive respect to Jonah, who is the developer of this game, and he made everything alone. When I mean everything, I mean the characters, animations, maps, the whole deal. That alone deserves props. Even if it's been done before, it still shows the commitment. But let's see if his graphics are really that good. The first thing I want to talk about is the character. A green blob with eyes. It's dumb, adorable, and somehow recognizable. Like, if you showed me a photo of this blob, I go, yeah, that is Bopl. It's so recognizable. But to be honest, and brutally honest, it literally is just a circle. Like, it really is nothing perfect. And the main reason I say this is that the other day I read an article about the best characters can be recognized just by their silhouettes. So people like Mario, Sonic, Master Chief, but this guy, he's literally a circle. You can mix him up with so many different things. So iconic, yes, but it's not like it's some masterpiece. But the one thing where the graphics shine is the abilities. See, here's where the things get fun. Abilities don't just happen, you become them. Like here, if you have the magnet gun as an ability, you don't use it, you become the magnet. And the same for the platform. You don't place the platform down, you morph into one. And it's not just these two. There's so many others, which gives me a reason to keep on playing because these animations are just so creative. But there is one specific animation, and this is time stop. It is wild. So you float in midair for a few seconds waiting for it to work, and when it does, everything freezes and the colors invert. And when this happens, everyone else in the game who's still alive just knows their fate is there. Unless you're like my friend from earlier who is just so stupid he ran into that coil. But honestly, time stop is one of my favorites. It's the colors inverting. It just makes the map look so cool. And like I said earlier, it's not just these abilities that have some cool aspects to them, it's everything else, and it was all made by one guy. That is seriously impressive for one solo dev. But like I said, it was most of them. Sadly, not all of them are the best. But now let's get away from the abilities and go on to the next part, the maps. In this game, there are 3 main themes of maps: the grass, frost, and space. They all look great, especially space maps with the moon platforms and zero gravity. But after a while, it does get boring. Like, yes, the layouts do change, but visually, they're too similar. So creative, yeah, I would say so, but there's just not enough of them, and there should be more theming for it. Overall, the animations do a lot of heavy lifting for the game, and the fact it was made by one guy, his creativity must be amazing. But like I said, it really still is limited. It's a simple character, mid-tier assets, and a map pool that kinda dries up fast. This leading me to give this section a 4.5 out of 10. Coming into this section, I didn't really expect anything, like genuinely. I just reviewed Super Auto Pets, another indie roguelike game, which you can totally like watch after this video and then subscribe, you know, it's your choice. And with that game, I expected a few songs in the soundtrack, but there was only one song, like literally just one. And Bopl was very similar, so I thought it's going to be the same story. So when searching up Bopl's OST, I was surprised to see that it had 7 full tracks. And I'm not going to lie, they're kind of funky, but maybe too funky. When I sat down and listened to them outside of all the chaos, they sounded like a serious 90s arcade, like something you'd hear on the back of a pizzeria. And I weirdly respect that. The tracks are upbeat, weirdly charming, and it makes it feel right at home in the neon-colored blob world. That said, do they actually work in the game? Well, it's kind of a mixed opinion. In the middle of a fast-paced slime battle to the death, I don't really want to be hearing any loud music during an intense battle. And to be fair, I don't even notice the music at all, either because it was too quiet or I was too busy trying to not get crushed by a moon. And this is all true except one track, Friendship. This song is very good, and I feel like I could instantly recognize it because it's just so upbeat and it's actually made pretty well. But the thing is, the track doesn't really give me the vibe of like an intense space duel, but more like the end credits of an ominous Game Boy game. So overall, the music is a lot better than I expected, but it does feel a bit out of place. It's fun, funky, and fits the vibe of the character, but it doesn't always match the scenery you're in. It's like playing Doom with some Roblox non-copyright music. So for the music section, I am going to give it a 4 out of 10. Now let's go on to the sound effects. So moving on to the sound effects in Bopl, they're dumb but in the best of way. Everything's exaggerated, the rocket roars, the black hole groans, and the blob makes these weirdly squeaky yells as it flies off the map. But that's what makes it kind of chaotic, cartoonish, which fits the game perfectly. But then you have the abilities, which all have their own distinct sound. Like yes, after a while they will get repetitive, but they still add chaos in such a good way. Also, after playing for a while, you kind of just block out the noise as you have your friends screaming so loud over the mics that you can't even hear the sound effects. So the sound won't really blow you away, but you will notice it when it's missing. So yeah, I haven't really got much to add to the sound effects except from these ones here, which I think are pretty cool. But like I said, you kind of blank them out and kind of forget about them after a while. So they still are cool. Each ability has their own sound effect. It's just nothing groundbreaking. So overall in this short section, I'm going to give the sound effects a 4 out of 10. Meaning that for the whole section, it will all get a 4 out of 10. Alright, for the last section, let's talk about the price. When I first played Bopl, it was in the demo version, this meaning it was free, and oh man, it was dangerously fun. I racked up more hours on the demo than the full game, but why is this? Well, it's because the demo gives you too much content and it almost feels like you don't need to play the full game. In the demo, you get 10 solid abilities with endless chaos all for free. Honestly, the developer Jonah was too generous. Like, this could have been the full game and I wouldn't have questioned it once. But if anything, the demo makes the full game feel like a paid DLC. So it might get you wondering, is the full game actually worth it? In my opinion, yes, it is. It's only £8.50, which is quite a steal for a game this fun and polished. Also, you will be supporting an indie creator, and I love all indie creators. I might have to make this channel just about indie. But like I said, it is kind of like a DLC. All you get is loads more abilities, which can add better replay value if you're into a chaotic party game. Even if you're not, it still really is fun to play. But after about 10 hours, the novelty does wear off. The game loop stays the same and it can start to feel very repetitive, but still for the price, it is very good. So I was gonna give this section a 5 out of 10 because £8.50 for a whole game like this, it doesn't seem worth it. But the developer was so generous that demo mode gave me literally everything. So I'm gonna give the price section a 6 out of 10. So coming into the rankings, we can see that the gameplay got a 6, story got a 0, graphics got a 4.5, music and sound effects got a 4, the price with a 6, giving an overall of 20.5 out of 50. In all honesty, I think this is quite high, especially when we're comparing it to other AAA games. Like, if you think about it, this game is very repetitive, so getting 20.5 I feel like is actually quite a lot. But Super Auto Pets did beat this score, and if you want to see why, click this video here. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, comment what other games I should do, and I'll see you guys in the next one.